Welcome back, Lindby listeners, to another Counterpoints. I'm Goodrich.
I'm Allie.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Spurrier.
So today, Spurrier has a topic he
Oh.
wanted to enlighten us with.
All right.
Or I guess ask
Well,
us all about
yeah,
it. It's
I'll
not
be-
enlightening.
Enlighten
We'll
you.
be enlightening.
Enlightening me, yeah.
Right.
Enlightening everyone.
So since music has been our path and it's kind of in all of our lives and what we did in college and all of our jobs in some way or another, I thought it'd be interesting to consider what would have happened if we had to go a different way. And I figured we'd kind of zoom out from where we're at, and we can kind of do this in layers, but it would be to go one layer back if it was music, but you majored in something different and went down a different path. And if you go a layer back from that, you can do art, but not music in general. And then finally, art is out in any way, shape, or form, and you have to go down something entirely different and see what that would be.
Just discover what is art.
Yeah,
Indeed.
and just to kind of see what that would have led to, and what your other strengths are, what your other interests are, and what that would mean, and what life could have been. And if the many worlds theory are true, it is true.
It is true.
What infinitely way out there, or layered on top of us. But that's
what
a
is
different
one
topic.
of those universes?
One of those, yes.
Yeah, you would like to consider.
So I guess I'll just start with the music side of things. And I think for me, probably the easiest choice would have been just doing piano and doing performance and all of that. I think it would have been a humongous undertaking, like me getting into school. Like I had to basically spend a year and a half undoing all of my bad habits and getting ready for school and being decent enough to get in. But it's one of those things where, and I feel this is true for a lot of people with a lot of things, but once I start practicing, like time just kind of isn't a thing anymore. And like I just get lost in it. It's always getting started is always the issue. But I don't know. I'm certainly, at this point, I'm not the equivalent of someone who would have gotten their performance degree. I still have some hills to climb, but I think I could have done that. I really enjoy doing it, but I think composing just allowed me to be a bit more spread out and do a bit of this and a bit of that and so on and so on. But definitely piano, I think, would have been mine. So Kyle?
I would probably say if I were to go back and do it again, I actually might have gone into like audio engineering, just because that's something that, you know, I'm very ignorant towards, and probably should just start learning it on my own. But having that ability, you know, going in and being able to like edit, you know, audio and change different, you know, soundscapes and everything is very interesting to me.
It is.
I'm sure, you know, when you talk at ends on things, I'm just like, man, you know a lot about that. And then I sit here like, I know a lot about theory, but nobody wants to hear about that.
Oh, no.
It's
we do,
great.
Kyle.
So I think I probably would have, focused on like audio engineering or something in that realm, maybe like radio, you know, and that. But I think I'm getting out of the music side of it, so I'll go ahead and pass that baton.
There's certainly an amount of audio engineering involved in radio, I would have to say. Yeah.
Well, that was actually one of them on my list too. Is like once I was in college and getting to know people like you who were involved in that area of music, I'm like, that is so cool. And you know, just really getting to see, you know, what you can do with somebody's music or with your own stuff. But I think had I been able to choose maybe a different instrument, you know, I grew up playing piano a little bit and I got into choir in high school. But if I had joined maybe band instead, maybe saxophone or percussion would have been maybe the way I went. And so I could see like doing percussion would be really cool. And getting to be that person. And that's why I have a drum set and I fool around with it and pretend I'm good.
You can do it. I mean, well, if you guys ever want, you know, I didn't have no idea.
No, you know,
if you guys want to, like, you know, come on over, I'd show you some audio stuff. I mean, geez, holy cow.
Sessions,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Same with the saxophone, I guess, if you really feel.
I just like it a lot. I'm just,
Yeah, well, and I'm not good at the saxophone. I mean, there was a time when I could, you know, play okay, but I haven't even touched my saxophone in, geez, 5 or 7. Like, the last time I played was at your comp recital. Like,
even then you hadn't really played.
Yeah, I learned that one
we had
piece.
been in choir by that point. So yeah,
boy, for me, I don't know. I've always thought like Nathan, my brother, is a vocal. I mean, stud. He made All-State all 4 years in high school. He sang in college, and now he's singing in New York he's in the Fantastics, and it's on Broadway, but it's technically off Broadway because it's not big enough to be considered on Broadway, the theater itself. Right, but he's on Broadway. So he's always been a fantastic singer. My dad sang And I always thought I always have felt very natural singing. So I always kind of thought maybe being a vocal performance, but I was never, I guess confident enough. And I was always way too interested in other things. And I could always sing and I always really liked it. And it always came very natural to me. And especially when we joined choir and doing sight singing for ear training and stuff was never super hard. I don't know. I felt like I got it a little bit easier than maybe some. Yeah. But there was that, and then also just composing too, doing kind of what you were doing.
Well, and you basically did. You went as far as you could.
Yeah, without actually taking on a double major.
Which is pretty far. I mean,
yeah. So computer comp with Shave in the little tiny room.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, and with Lindby, we all have kind of an outlet for somewhat composition anyway.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which is great.
Yeah, I've always really enjoyed that, and ever since learning theory and seeing how everything fits. Whenever I was in theory in college and even in high school to a degree, finding out just how chords worked and how they all fit together and the textures and sounds totally just blew my mind right open. I was just that's why it makes sense. That's why Mozart sounds so distinctive and why Bach's so distinctive and Beethoven. It's just all the theory. And then when you add the texture of the instruments, that always just was so incredible to me, just how you can take something. And of course, with us living in the day that we live in, movie scores are kind of our modern, symphony or whatever.
Yeah.
With John Williams and Howard Shore and all the great film composers, hearing, when for instance, whenever you're in Mordor in Lord of the Rings, there's bum, 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 bum. If that was played on a different instrument than a freaking bass trombone or something, how stupid would it sound? Just knowing what to do with notes and on what instrument and, how you're going to approach a certain feeling or I had mad respect for anyone who could successfully do that. So I said for me anyways, if I wasn't and I in school did audio engineering.
Oh yeah, I guess we should say what we actually did.
Right, yeah. So composition,
composing,
theory,
music education.
Right, and I did audio engineering.
And now you know.
Now you know.
Knowing's half the battle.
So and audio engineering kind of allowed me to kind of stay in that kind of realm, but I don't have a huge hand in composing. I kind of do, but not very big. So anywho.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's one level back.
One layer.
So now we Inception back one more. And so in the world of arts, but outside of music, for me, probably some sort of 3D, sculpting or something would probably be what I would have done. I've never done a lot of it, but just I've always thought it was really cool. And I don't know if we've all talked about this or not. Just this could be a topic for a different day. Just the way that we think and stuff. I think in pictures, basically. It's completely visual in my head.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's just easy to visualize things and kind of take an object and spin it around in my head. I think it'd be really cool to just be able to take a block of clay or steel or wood or whatever and then just create something out of it. Photography would probably be the easier answer since I actually do that as a job. My wife and I shoot weddings. We're using one of the cameras to film this now.
Right.
Thanks, Mel.
Thanks, Mel.
What is it, Melissa Claire Photography?
Melissa Claire Photography for all of your DFW wedding needs. Or if you want to pay for us to travel, we'll come do that too.
Right.
That's right.
But yeah, so I think that would be cool. Sculpting or photos or something of that nature. I've always liked to draw. I don't think I could have gotten through school if I wasn't doodling and sketching.
Yeah.
So maybe that too. But because it was so boring. Nothing against our school system could use some refinement, but that's a topic for a different day too. Anyways, Kyle.
Well, I don't know how much this falls into an artistic path, but I see it as a form of art. But smithing or something along those lines.
Definitely.
I watched this. There's a show recently. I can't recall the name of it, but it might have been just really big swords.
Yeah, it was big giant swords.
Yeah, big giant swords and something. And this guy, just this burly guy out living on an island near Massachusetts.
And he makes famous swords.
Yeah, he makes
right?
he does craft or custom work and stuff like that. And it makes a bunch of
People
swords.
send him in special requests, and
but they send him. But that's something I've been kind of looking into chainmail and how people made that. I met a friend of yours came down for something, and their husband was getting into chainmail, and I just that whole crafting side of it. That seems really the hands-onness of it is what really gets me, and I think that's something I would have would have gotten into had I been given the opportunity, like an apprenticeship or something at like a forge would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Man.
Have you ever subscribed or watched any videos from Tested that
No.
Adam Savage does? Like it's all, well, they do all sorts of stuff with like tech, but they also like a lot of it is Adam Savage loving to make stuff. So he brings on people like that and they talk about skills and how to make things. So you should check that out.
I'll have to do that.
And talk about our Dungeons and Dragons games. If you just ripped out a sword,
Yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you know.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's what I'd want to do. I think if I would have done if given the opportunity.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, I have a couple for mine, and it would just really involve acquiring some specific skill sets and really working on certain things. But I've always thought glass blowing is really cool.
Yes.
And I've gotten the opportunity to watch some like live glass blowers do their thing, and I'm always amazed and scared at the same time. So it's like I'm so clumsy, and I would just burn myself.
I mean, they talk about like
constantly.
how much time they spend, and like in one moment it all just falls off the
Yeah.
end of the thing. And
Yeah, but it's
like weeks of work just totally hosed.
So maybe that, or I've always thought architecture is really cool, and being very precise and kind of a perfectionist with that kind of stuff, measurements. And I'm also a very visual person, so any ideas I have, I like to put down on paper and kind of lay them all out and see.
Yeah.
So I've always thought architecture would be kind of something I could take out of my head and put on paper and then somehow create.
Those poor architecture majors at UTA.
They never slept.
No, they just
yeah.
slept in the building.
Always somebody there.
Yeah.
And I loved when they'd put their stuff out in that little lobby area. I would just,
Oh, yeah.
I'd be
That
like
was
on
really
my way
cool.
to the library, and I'd just stop and stare at stuff like,
So
what?
good. It's unfortunate how much they get sued too.
Yeah.
The architects
Yeah.
whenever something goes wrong.
Oh
Ugh.
dang.
It always because they're kind of like the final. You know, it's like the builder's like, nah, it wasn't me. The architect. You know, like
Yeah.
they kind of go there at
He
the
got that
end
degree
of
wrong.
the. Yeah, it's like, well, he's the one who came up with it. Just talk to him, and it's just like. Ugh. But yes,
Pressure's on.
Yeah, I know. For me, and I have to say, I'm very grateful, thankful. Like I would probably pick something in film or animation, and that's actually what I'm doing at work mostly now. I do all the sound and audio needs and capabilities and music too at work, but I also do animation, and I've always kind of been an abstract kind of guy, like in terms of art and what I put down, like if I draw something or something. So it's always been fun to take an idea and for my work, it's for like a financial institution. So it's really kind of pushing the boundaries of like metaphors and like, oh, let's take what was the last thing, like a UX hub or something, and like how do we make it so that like anyone could understand this and stuff. So but I'm really into it, and I've learned a ton. And then back in the day when we were making Smile Time and stuff, like I mean whenever like Spurrier would make these videos and seeing like the final product after all of the hours of editing, and it kind of fits because you know with audio engineering, you know, there's just at the end of the day it's just some WAV file or MP3, and you're just like, so much went into that, but now it's just like a 2.5 minute long jig or whatever, you know, like a ditty, and it just is so much that goes in. You think about your favorite song, and it's, you know, however many minutes long, and like the amount of time that went into it. It's always just been incredible. Like, and these days you watch movies and stuff with all the effects and 3D, and I'm slowly learning all that, which is 3D is just insane. Like the amount of
When you get to 4, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, right.
goodness, yeah.
And that's why I always want to sit through the credits, just because, you know, those people worked really hard on it. But like this day and age, it's like there's so many people.
There's like studios upon studios that have hands in these movies now. It's crazy, but yeah, definitely for me, it would have to be something in like film or animation, because and I'm not a good, you know, artist per se. Like, you know, I can do some pretty good stylized character design.
I mean,
but,
the intro of this. I mean,
right?
you,
Yeah, I did.
You made that.
Right,
So.
I made the intro for Counterpoints, and that's kind of what I'm in heavy right now, like the flat style and everything like that. And I love it. It's so good because it's easier than, you know, back in the 90s and stuff when everything had a gradient, and you know, and like studying, well, because as I've been learning this, I've been studying all of the past animations and stuff, and like still Terry Gilliam just takes it for me, just like that hilarious, just like paper craft. And I can't get over it. But it's grew up watching that, so I can't help but love it. But yeah, it's nice that right now like the style is this flat style, and it's just a lot more manageable, especially for someone like me who doesn't, I have a background now, but when I first started, I was like moving a square across a canvas and like typing text out, like easy stuff.
Okay, there are games out now where it's just a square moving across a canvas. So,
and like there's something to that. I mean, there like when you have a simple game, like now that I've studied all this, it means so much more when you have a game that grabs you. Like something like Journey or one of the games that are like really simple,
game.
but there's so much to it, and it's I don't know, like I really like it. So
there's something about the simplicity, like in that just that's gripping.
Yeah, or like Chime's a great example,
man.
and Sound Shapes. It's like just all of that when it comes together, and it's just an easy concept, like Tetris or something. You think about the game like Tetris is just blocks,
play that all day.
Yeah, you play it all day, and not even if they're Pac-Man or something. And it's just like I don't know. Anywho, that's kind of went off there.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Well, when you can pull it off.
Right. Goodness.
Yeah. Awesome.
Anywho, so third layer.
Third layer of Inception. Or time is moving faster or slower now?
Slower.
Yeah. Are we going in?
No.
It doesn't
Well, we're
matter.
kind of diving out of the universe, I guess. So
Like red shifting.
Yeah. There we go. For
Cool.
all you astronomy fans out there.
Yeah.
So now we've broken away from music, we've broken away from art. So for me, I don't have a specific, but I think it would probably have to be in math is where I would go. You go on my YouTube like recommendations page, and it's just like math this, math that. Like for all these channels that I'm subscribed to and watching. Like as an example, for those of you at home, did you know that if you do 1 + 2 + 3 all the way to infinity, you'd think it would equal infinity, but it equals -1/12? It's things like that, and that stuff just
that
like
video.
I
it just
why.
grips my.
Take these numbers, shift them over, and it's all good.
And it's all we can prove it. And there's just so. And for me, besides the thinking in pictures, numbers for me have always made a lot more sense than words have. Like writing papers and stuff in school was hands down my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like the only time I would really do badly in school, unless it was about a paper that I liked, and then it would be
which was
fun.
more than often not. It
More
was
than often not. That happened like
prompted,
twice in all the years of writing papers. And math was just always, and math and music are so like
made
this. So
sense.
it just always helped out on both ends of the spectrum. Get stronger at this, get stronger here. And I have no idea what I would do. Like there's so many routes that you could take with math. So I wouldn't even
Absolutely.
begin to know where what path would be.
grandfather
For
of all
NASA or
sciences,
something, you get to.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
favorites
tying
in
it
the
into
end.
space would be amazing. So maybe something in that vein.
Go work for that old SpaceX, that old Elon.
Get your Musk on.
Get your Musk on with
Elon.
Yes, that should be his new motto.
Get those rockets off that pad now.
Yeah.
Quit them.
You gotta help them Kerbals.
Yes. Oh man, let's put some more time into that.
Yeah. Well, that's always the joke, with all the sciences, all just comes back to math. Like there's at any time you look at like physics or even biology and chemistry, it all just boils down to numbers. So
yeah, as far as we can tell, yeah.
Right.
So math.
Well, speaking of chemistry, I was actually going to say that'd probably be what I would be interested in. I loved chemistry class in high school, and I guess I just never sought it out afterwards. But just being able to combine things and have something new come out of it, or trying to, people. I don't even know if this falls into the same thing, because people come up with different polymers and everything like that, and materials, and it's just like, man, you're creating like groundbreaking material, like I can't remember who it was, but they came up with like the darkest cloth, or like the darkest colored black, where it's like it just seems void to the eye,
and you can't even see it in a sense.
Yeah. So chemistry always seemed interesting to me, and like there's, and I guess that goes back to I kind of had like a small fascination with like medieval alchemy, and like how those guys got into it, squaring the circle and everything like that, creating the philosopher's stone, and that also goes into a favorite anime of mine as well, which is completely just fantasy, but still very enticing. The idea of everything, which is Full Metal Alchemist. If you don't know, you should watch it. Both the regular one and Brotherhood, fantastic alone. But
I don't usually like animes, but that was a good one.
Yeah, I got her into that one somehow.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
But yeah, something involving chemistry would be probably what I would have gone down, just to be able to maybe that's the mad scientist in me. I don't know.
Using the building blocks of the universe.
Right, exactly.
Well, and then if you knew that, like the type of swords that you could create, like make the ultimate steel, or
That's right.
Yeah. So.
Valerian.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
Adamantium.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Well, I was always into biology, really hardcore in high school, and mathematics also. But I also, when I was a teenager, got to spend a couple weeks at Bethesda Naval Hospital and getting to kind of work with the doctors there and get an inside scoop into like what it would be like to work in a hospital. And I really enjoyed that. So I almost went kind of pre-med in college instead of music. I actually had to make a choice, and it was pretty rough that day. But yeah, so I ultimately chose music, but I was going to go science and get into nursing or pre-med or something like that. Growing up, I'd always wanted to be a veterinarian, so it was something around there.
Yeah.
Just life and all that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting.
It's
very, very,
yeah.
Well, I guess it makes sense that you work with kids, like you're around.
Right,
Yeah, it was always
helping
going to be
foster life in some
something
shape,
where I
yeah.
was in the public service or helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Weird.
Well, for me, I was the opposite of Spurrier in school. I could write no problem. It was just like math. I was never super great. I was awesome at geometry. I loved geometry.
Yeah, geometry was the one I hated. I don't want to use words in math class.
Yeah, right.
Proofs are so. I know how to do this. Don't make me write why.
It was so easy though. I mean, it's all there for you. The
algebra's all there too. You don't have to add anything extra.
It's fair, but it makes sense because now that I'm doing animation, geometry is just like bam.
Yeah,
it's like
I know that's
every
true.
day. So it totally works out. But I didn't I don't know if I would have been a writer though. And plus, it's kind of in the art side of things, so I wouldn't really count. But I would have to say, and again, I have to say, I'm really thankful. I'm kind of doing this now, but like computer sciences. Like whenever we in high school, whenever we did webmastering and stuff with Teacup, our teacher. Anyways, doing like HTML and CSS and like looking at code, it's really fascinating. Like just how all that works. Like, well, HTML and CSS are purely like front end, kind of make things happen on a page, a web page look nice, but. Just like getting into hardcore computer sciences has recently, anyway, since I've been doing it a little bit at work, it's been really awesome and like fascinating, and just especially with smartphones now and just how it just keeps getting faster and more powerful, and like what everyone's doing to like make that happen is it's like basically watching the future unfold as we live our just everyday life. You pick up your phone and even think about like how much power it has in it, and all the code that goes into it, and hopefully, spoilers, we're eventually in the future going to maybe try to work up some sort of mobile Lindby thing.
Or down the road. Got a couple more things to do first.
But yeah, so it kind of split. I wasn't really sure where I would have gone because I've always been, and when I was younger, like I was really into sports because I was always tall and I could, I was an athlete.
Yeah, you were the first person I met. Like when we got to middle school, I was like, oh, there's someone taller than me. Oh,
yeah,
man, it's crazy.
Exactly.
And a whole lot tall.
Yeah,
wild.
So that's always been like when I was growing up, like in my path. And I don't know how much I kidded myself about becoming a professional athlete, just because like when you're a kid and especially in middle school and you're on like a good team, like, man, I could just do this all the time. It'd be great. Wow. But then we joined band and I was like, but this is awesome. Like this is, and I don't know. But yeah, recently I would have to say like doing something with code, like just with computers, I'm learning more about it. And the more that I learn, it's almost musical in a way, the way that everything fits together.
Patterns.
You're composing.
Yeah, composing, and patterns, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
that mathematical side of it.
Yeah,
it's funny you say it because like that was my first year at UNT. I went for computer science and not music, and like there might be a need to be a full circle for me on that. But I was enjoyed it in high school.
Too.
I was in computer science and AP computer science, and like I was the only one in my class to take the AP test and everything. Granted, I sucked at it, but still, I was there with gold-winning medalist, Olympic medalist Dana Vollmer for swimming that year.
There you go.
Which was really weird because she wasn't even in our class. It was like, why are you taking this test? She was like, my parents paid for it. And they want me to take all the AP tests. Like, oh, okay, cool. Okay. She was like doodling a flower on her page, and I was just like, oh. What kind of code is that?
Now she's winning gold medals in the Olympics, man.
Well, I think she's done doing that, but she did. She definitely did.
She definitely did that.
Definitely got it knocked out.
Yeah, no, the computer sciences are crazy, and it's there's so much. I mean, obviously, if you know C, they say you kind of know most everything, and
It's the basis. So.
Yeah, and I've kind of learned that. Like I've done some coding in C, and
Is that like the Rosetta Stone of coding?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I don't want to get hardcore into it, and I'm sure there's people out there that are probably just screaming, But anyways, but yeah,
leave your comments below.
Right? Yeah, tell us how dumb we are, but yeah, and I guess real quick, if you want to say like kind of piggybacking on that idea.
We're getting a little close.
Getting a little close on time. Well, real quick, when you were growing up, what did you want to be? Just real quick, because
go around real fast.
Yeah, just real quick. So I kind of said like when I was growing up, I wanted to be like a football player or a basketball player. I was more into football, but I think every kid wanted to be I wanted to be like an archaeologist, or like Cadis and I were talking actually last night, and like we both wanted to be an archaeologist and a storm chaser. Like to chase tornadoes around and stuff. It's like that's so awesome. Same with archaeology too. So and an athlete, but anywho.
Yeah. Well, I already mentioned I always wanted to be a veterinarian growing up. So.
Paleontology.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably making movies or games.
There you go.
Things growing up. So.
Cool. That's a little bit about our lives, I guess.
Yeah.
Multiple dimensions.
The dreams we left behind.
What is going on out there in the infinite nature of space?
Two roads diverged in wood. And that
was pretty sweet.
So, anywho, check us out as always. Lindbymusic.com, lindby.bandcamp.com for all of our music. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. We've got lots of videos going on. We've got an email list you can sign up for, get exclusive content and all that. And, social media, Facebook, Twitter, and
the grams.
And as always, love your mother.
Love your mother.
Yeah. All right. See you later.